So if you look at it, why this, the question again we are going back, why July 83 was the biggest massacre. So there was a big brooding. This division of Tamils and Sinhalese are now very clear from 1977 onwards. And then everybody is setting their ground. One side, the Sinhalese leaders who have been, like Nimalan said, telling their community that we are going to make the Sinhala only Buddhist country. And this, they were selling it so that slowly we are eradicating the Tamils from the island. But suddenly the Tamils are calling, they have got a right in their land, in northern east, that they are historical land. They are calling self-determination. And so how we are going to? The ways the Jayawardena thought as a president, because the presidency system has been brought in, only the way he has got the power now, he can do whatever. Let us stamp out any dissent, and then told all the MPs who was elected, 22 MPs who was elected, to sign a declaration that they will accept the Constitution of Sri Lanka. Yeah, and so then most of them resigned and went out, saying that they didn't come and they didn't resign. They just kept on not signing, and a few of them didn't come and sign. And even he was in the opposition leader, he couldn't act certain things, and he was trying to do certain things. But later on, what happened? This was brewing in between, and then few of them signed, and then they went inside. So at that time, the concern of most of the youth was that these people have sold out our freedom, because they have gone in and they have accepted the Constitution. And now even you can see the Northern Ireland, even the Sinn Féin, take the side of the Sinn Féin. Sinn Féin is not still coming to the Parliament, British Parliament. Even though they are elected in their constituency, they don't want to come and sit down in the Parliament. They are the true representation of a separate movement. So even though they are elected to the Parliament of British, they are still not taking the position in the Parliament. But whereas in 1977, people said to them, we have given you the referendum, established the Tamil, what our politicians have done is gone back into the Sri Lankan Parliament and accepted that we will stay under unity state. This was the biggest mistake they have done. Now even when we talk about this referendum in 77, people in the United Nations and other places, they are saying, why? Why didn't you come out and declare? Why didn't you come out? At that time, all our politicians was afraid of going into jail and all sort of things. They didn't want to, even though this was a political ploy of winning the votes, but they was not honest as far as, that is why we can clearly see now, if they was honest at that time, why they are going back to the federalism. If in 1976, when that declaration was happened, the same party, the party which is now the Freedom Party or Tamil Katchi, who proposed that resolution, brought in everybody and proposed that resolution, now they are going back to federalism. What is happening? So they was really not honest at the time. So the youth was honest. They wanted to do things and they want a separate state, but our politician was not honest. They still play the same political games. And this is the reason in 83 there was from 81 onwards there was army oppression. Army people came out, like Nimalan said, army and navy, everybody was in the north looking at anybody trying to establish the Tamil Elam. So this was a suppression. The suppression started in 81. Few of the youngsters have started disappearance. The disappearance is not a common thing. It started in 81. Nearly in 81, a lot of Tamil youth was disappearing. And then the Tamil youth felt, oh, we had to be either with the arms, or we had to run out of the country, or we don't have any security. And then at that time, there was few resistant movements decided we should take action against these people who are suppressing us in our homeland. So let us take some action, and the few of them get together. It was not more than 10. And few of them got together, they bought few arms and ammunition and everything. In Tinaveli, on 23rd night, there was a parade of envoy of army vehicles which go from the Jaffna base, which is next to the Buddhist temple in wherever they are, and then they always go on the Parali road. So they decided to carry out an attack on these people who are suppressing them. This was only the 10 people. And they took up carry out the attack at the midnight. And at the time, 13 army personnel was killed in that attack. This was only army personnel. And there was a resistance movement of another 10 people who was planning this ambush, and this was a guerrilla attack on the army system. And what happened? Suddenly, one person escaped from that convoy, and he was started running, and when he was put down weapon and he started running, they let them go or whatever, then they left the place and they went. And people didn't know this is the first attack happened in the village, my village. The people didn't know that what was happening. And they thought that, okay, this is some bomb blast and all that. Police will come and then they will inquire and then they will do the normal procedure. But that didn't happen. People waited and people was anxious, and they are innocent people. They didn't have anything to do with the attack or anything. So they was in the village, this attack happened, and there was suburb to Jaffna. And at about nearly, I think, 3 or 4 o'clock, army came in and started firing at the people who were standing on the road. Even the emergency was not declared at that time, and people was fired on the an emergency was declared, but it was not very, very visible. People didn't know that there was something, and people started. And then the worst thing is that this army personnel started going into the houses. Emergency happens on the road. If anybody is not, emergency rules are passed, only it's applicable to the roads and applicable to public places. The people, when this army personnel went into the houses, break the window of my grandfather's house. My grandfather, 83-year-old retired teacher, he was shot in his head, he was sleeping. He didn't propagate anybody. He didn't have anything to do with that. And then again, because of the halabula, the uncle who was inside came out with both hands raised up. He was shot in his stomach and had to die in the lap of his wife. And they left and went. On that day, 40 people have been killed, massacred by the authorities. So where is the security? That is what we are asking. The army, navy, and police and everything are security forces, which should be supporting the people, supporting the protection of the people. What is happening in Sri Lanka for Tamils? These are all what happened is clearly a genocide, because Tamil have been killed without propagation because they are Tamils. It's nothing other than that. It's like tsunami. Tsunami was in 2004. We didn't understand, we didn't know what was tsunami. When it came in, only Tamils understood that was a tsunami, and then we was affected mostly by that. The same way this 83 happened, then these 13 bodies should have been taken to their villages. If army personnel dies in some conflict or whatever, they should have been taken to the villages. What these people did, take the whole army 13% to the Ratnamala, their base, and there was some thing, and these politicians was behind all this. Even they said that the voters list in Colombo and everywhere around was supplied to them so that they can identify the Tamil houses, loot them, kill everybody because they are killed Sinhalese. Let us put a uprising of Tamils, give them a biggest massacre or genocide. In other words, this Tamil doesn't have anything to do with whatever happened in the resistance in the north. That's 40 people killed in Tirunelveli also had nothing to do with the resistance. They didn't support the resistance, they didn't do anything, they don't know who it was. So how can, this is where the justice problem is. Where in 1983, when this flared around, for 3 days there was no declaration, and Indira Gandhi had to ask J.R. Jayawardena to put in the emergency and stop this man hunting and killing and destroying Tamil properties. And Tamils was left in a land of killing. So this is what happened in 83. This is a pure genocide in the face of, at that time there was all the free media in Colombo. So all the free media have recorded. It's a well documented genocide in 1983. Nobody cannot say that what happened in 93 is not a genocide. So I put it on that basis and ask Nimilan to continue with his thoughts on that.